Hey guys, Braden here at SuperATV, and today I'm going to be showing you how to install SuperATV's aluminum half doors on this Can-Am Defender Max. So let's get to it. So as you can see, our machine doesn't have the factory door nuts and protector tubes. The first thing you're going to want to do, if you have them installed, is go ahead and remove all the hardware, and the hardware will be located here. Two T30 Torx on either side here. You'll have a T30 Torx here and down here. Then you'll remove your buckle from here, as well as the bolt that runs through here. And then in the back, we would want to remove the screw here, as well as the two screws here. And once you've done all that, so at this point you should have your door nuts removed, we're going to go through and remove all our hardware off of this side panel. So we'd have a screw here, as well as right here, and then we'll have 3 screws down through here. So we'll just go ahead and we'll remove all of the hardware securing our side panel on. We've already loosened everything just for demonstration purposes. So there's our front side panel. We can remove it now. So then we'll go back to the back with 2 push pins. Just want to go ahead, we can just pull these out. Then remove our side panel, set it aside. So then once you remove your covers, you're going to see here, you're going to have 2 bolts that are securing the cage to the frame of the machine. You want to go ahead and remove these. Again, we've loosened our hardware just for demonstration purposes. Then we'll come up here to the front and we'll go ahead and remove these 2 bolts as well. We'll set them aside. So this is our center panel here. I removed it from right here. Ours has already had a set of aluminum doors, so this spot right here is cut out. On your factory side panel, you should have a little bit of an indentation all the way through here. We just took a razor knife and just trimmed it out as neatly and cleanly as we could. Once you've done that, this is all set and ready to be installed with the bracket. So now we're going to grab our striker mount, and then our door striker will have 2 jam nuts and then 1 lock washer. The lock washer will go on, and then our jam nut. We don't want to fully tighten anything yet. So we're going to grab 2 of our small 10mm headed bolts out of the hardware kit. And we'll slide our striker in just like this, and it's threaded, so we'll just get the holes lined up. And we'll want to leave this loose as well because there is some adjustability there. So it should look something just like this right here. So the next thing that we're going to do is grab our lower filler plate, our 2 M10 bolts, our threaded plate here, and then our spacers. So right where we removed the cage hardware from, we'll take a spacer, slide it on there just like that. You can do both of them at once. And then what we do is we slide this bracket in here. We get it lined up with the holes in the frame, exactly where your cage hardware came out of. Just like that. And we'll take our threaded plate, get it started on there just like that. And I like to run this up about as far as I can by hand. Obviously we don't want to tighten anything just yet because we still have plenty of adjustments to do. So we'll just get it kind of slid up into position there like that. Just hand tighten everything. So now we're going to install our rear filler plate. We're going to slide it right through the spot where we made the cut in our plastic. And then we're going to grab another set of our small 10mm headed bolts. We're going to go ahead and slide this into position here. And as we start sliding it into position, we're going to reach through and install our bolts. This can be a little bit tricky. You just kind of want to flex that plastic a little bit. And there'll be a threaded hole for both the bolts on the frame here. It's nice and easy. You don't have to do any drilling, no nuts, nothing like that. So once we have our bolts started, we're going to go through here, hold our bracket straight, and we'll go ahead and we will fully tighten the bracket. So the next thing we're going to do, install our rear striker. Thread your nut on, slide it through, lock washer, then your nut. And we'll grab 2 of our small 10mm headed bolts. I want to go ahead and put this screw back in. So we'll get that in there and we'll just go ahead and tighten it up. Now as you can see here, there's 2 threaded holes in the frame. That's what we're trying to line it up with. So once we're lined up, we'll just take our hardware, get that slid into position, get our hardware started. We'll just hand tighten these again. That way we can, move it if need be. So now we're gonna grab our rear filler plate, just like we did the front. We'll drop our bolts through, our spacers. And we're just gonna slide them through the holes in the frame. Then we'll grab our threaded plate here, get it installed. So we'll just get those ran up to where they're real close to being tight, but you can still move this bracket around. The next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and reinstall our rear panel here. Let's get it slid in position, get our push pins installed, and we'll go ahead and grab our last filler plate for the driver's side and our small M10 hardware. We'll install it right to the factory threaded holes. We don't really want to tighten anything yet because we may have to do some adjusting. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and grab our door strap here and install it to the 2 threaded holes on the door. Make sure that we have our washer installed. Do that. Get that screw installed there. Make sure it's tight. Then we'll go ahead and repeat the same steps for the rear door, and then we're ready to go ahead and get our front door installed. Kind of get the door slid into position here. Because whenever we're sliding the door into position, we want it to slide behind this bracket right here. That way we can get our hardware through and get it started and threaded. So we'll go ahead and grab 4 of our Allen headed screws. We'll slide our door up into position to where we can get our hardware started. Then we'll grab 2 of our small 10mm headed bolts. And we'll come right down through here. Let's go ahead and get these started here, just like this. All of the bracketry will probably be just a little loose still, and that's fine. We don't want to fully tighten anything just yet. So now what we're going to be checking is clearance around our door. First thing I want to do is I kind of want to move my latch up just a little bit. We'll kind of pick up on the door and get it latched and kind of hold it there. And that looks pretty good to me. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold up on the door and we're going to go through and start tightening some of the hardware up. Door still needs to come up a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up on the door itself. I'm going to come back here and tighten our 2 big bolts that are running through our cage. So I usually just take a 14mm ratchet wrench. That should hold it for us. And then our 2 10mm bolts in there as well. Then our latch bolt. All right, so we're kind of snugged all around here. So right there, the door's closed, it's latched. As you can see, one finger, it opens real nicely. We can close it, it latches very good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna fully tighten all my hardware on my front door, and then we're gonna work our way back to the rear door. So moving on to the rear, the process is super similar. Just wanna take our door, slide it in here just like this. We'll get our door latched, and then we'll go ahead and get all 4 of our Allen headed screws started back here in the rear. We won't fully tighten anything just yet, but we're just going to kind of run these in a little bit. The way it just kind of helps us hold everything in position. So once we have our door latched, we'll go ahead and take our 2 small 10mm and slide them into the bracket. Go ahead and get them started just like we did on the front. everything latched, go ahead and start tightening these bolts up here just to hold everything in position. Looks like the door is opening and closing good there. So we'll go ahead and tighten these bolts back here. So looks like our door open and closes good. So what we need to do is go back and we're going to tighten the 2 bolts that go through the frame, just like we did in the front. And we'll check our door, make sure it closes good. Looks like it opens and closes good there. So we'll take our hardware and start reinstalling it for our center portion of the plastic. So we'll open it up. We'll put the rest of the hardware in. So at this point, what you're going to want to do, go through, make sure everything's opening and closing good. You know, make sure all your adjustments are correct. Our adjustments may be different than the ones you're going to make on your machine, so keep that in mind. Everything's looking good on our end, so we're just going to go through, double check all our hardware, make sure everything's good and snugged up. So once you have your driver's side done or passenger side, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you repeat all the same steps for the opposite side. Double check everything, double check all your hardware, make sure everything's open and closing good. And that's how super quick and easy it is to install SuperATV's aluminum half doors on this Can-Am Defender Max. For more information on these aluminum doors or any of SuperATV's great products, feel free to give us a call at 855-743-3427 or check us out online at superatv.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.